Party Charlotte. We are ready to party.
They're classy too, man. I could wear this on a date.
People who are most successful are the ones who don't just give up.
We have officially partnered up with Albemarle Paper Supply. Albemarle Paper Supply services paper products within the cities of Charlotte, Concord, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Salisbury, Morrisville, and smaller cities in between. From fiber, plastic, and foam bowls, paper towels, tissues, napkins, takeout containers, gloves, to janitorial supplies, and much, much more, Albemarle Paper is dedicated to bring you the paper goods you need. Customers can pick up products directly at Albemarle Paper's warehouse located at 735 Henson Street in Albemarle, North Carolina, or products can be delivered to you at your business doorstep. Today's live is also brought to you by CL Driving School. CL Driving School is a truck driving school located in Indian Trail, offering programs for both commercial Class A and Class B licenses. With your choice between automatic and manual transmission, their classes consist of small group trainings with one instructor per truck. Training is available on weekdays, weekends, and evenings. Not only do you receive classes, but opportunities for sponsorship programs, recruiter visits, and job placement assistance also occurs. CL Driving School is also trilingual with classes offered in English, Spanish, and Arabic. Register for classes today by calling 704-821-1111. Again, that number is 704-821-1111. Don't miss out. Hello and welcome to the MLS Corner, one of the best corners in all of the MLS. We have a very, very special show today, so we had to have some very, very special guests. Introducing first a Charlotte MLS guru, one of our own, Mr. Vaughn. Vaughn, how are you today, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on today, Jorge.
For sure. And then we had to bring some people from ATL on here. Honestly, this is the most Hondurans I've ever seen on an live. So it'll be interesting. So if these guys say something out of whack, man, just blame it on them being Honduran. We've got John. John, how are you, my man?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Jorge?
I'm great.
Pleasure to be here.
I'm great. And then we also have Ariel from Resurge the Spike ATL. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. All good, man. Just glad to be here talking some soccer, man. That's always a pleasure to talk about soccer, man.
For sure. And what I want you to guys do first is kind of tell us a little bit about who you guys are. Vaughn, I'm going to have you start just because there's probably one person that doesn't know who you are here in Charlotte. All the knowledge that you have.
Yeah, I'm a general MLS podcaster, freelance, I guess. No, I jump around. I've been following Major League Soccer since the beginning. I was 6-7 years old when I went to my first MLS game and have watched it through the ages. And now I get to enjoy it by podcasting about it and supporting my Eastern Conference and my Western Conference teams. Everybody listening that is from Charlotte probably knows I'm a Sporting Kansas City and Charlotte FC fan. But yeah, yes.
Question for you. For that NCAA championship, were you rooting for Kansas or North Carolina?
KU, not even a question.
Yeah, okay.
It was a great day. Hey, in 2008, that was my senior year of high school, and I went to Fog Allen. I went to Allen Fieldhouse and watched the game in Allen Fieldhouse and stormed the court and kissed the court in 2008. So yeah, KU. If I would have gone to a state school, is where I would have been.
Okay. Cool. Nice. John, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. And you run a YouTube channel called Apartment 85.
Yeah, so Apartment 85, anything soccer. We love football there. I work with two of my editors. Their names Lalo and Gilberto, good friends of mine since way back. We just love to cover soccer, especially players. We love the exciting players. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like getting the new and fresh and, this is the new player you should check out and this and that and the tournament's coming up. So we just love football, for the love of football. And I'm actually based out of Atlanta. So, I'm over here in, I guess you would call it, the county's called Gwinnett. So it's like metropolitan Atlanta. And yeah, I've got to say, I'm excited for this game coming up for Charlotte. So
Perfect, man. Do you have a video up of Pedri yet, or am I gonna have to wait for that one?
I do, my friend. I do. It's probably like 3 months back, but it's still,
Okay.
you could say it's still updated.
Nice. Awesome. And then Ariel, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, man. Well, basically, I got, basically not gonna say recruited, but basically, I've been following Atlanta obviously ever since they came out. It was the closest team here to where I actually live in Charleston, South Carolina. But I one day, all of a sudden we had somebody posted on one of the Atlanta United groups on Facebook, like if they were interested on, starting a podcast or whatever. I mean, these guys, from FILA, they basically, what actually FILA stands for is Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. That's what it's actually named. So, these guys,
Not
they
the
cover.
shoes.
What happened?
Not the shoes.
Not the shoes.
Nah,
Forever I
not
love
the FILA
Atlanta.
shoes, bro. Not the FILA shoes. We definitely well, basically what I only cover is, basically the soccer content. We got other guys that cover either the basketball or football or the baseball out now that's starting back up. I try, to, not only talk about, Atlanta United, on the channel, because at times, it gets kind of boring, and also other things, that also come in with football or soccer, is not, indirectly it also ties with, the with Atlanta, like per se the U.S. men's national team or other guys that are representing another national team. So that's what we try to keep it a little bit more diverse. But yeah, man, same thing like John said, man. We just love the game, man. It's pretty much it.
Man, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I like also having opposition on the show because you can kind of give us your perspective in terms of what you think your team is doing and kind of us, man, kind of what people are seeing in Charlotte. But before we get started with that, we do have to go over what happened with Charlotte this weekend. I mean, Charlotte took a 2-0 loss to Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is still undefeated team. I mean, it was a very, very tough game. Honestly, I thought the lineup that Miguel chose was way too respectful and a little bit too conservative. And it didn't really help us out because I feel like the mistakes we made would have been the same mistakes we probably would have made if we would have played a little bit more offensive. Vaughn, give us your thoughts, man.
Yeah, it was maybe a bit too pragmatic. I'd agree that there was definitely respect there. We kind of had a sense, or I think in leading up to the game, there was a lot of talk of Philadelphia being a good side and us probably needing to put more bodies behind the ball. My concerns heading into the game were Philadelphia is a team that will pounce, that you leave them an inch, they'll take it a mile. And that's exactly what happened. They pressure you so well. They're so organized. They force you into making quick decisions. And unfortunately for Charlotte, there were a couple of quick decisions that were not the right ones. And yeah, we lost 2-0 on the road. It wasn't a pretty game, but I didn't feel like we got played off the field. I won't go out there and be like, this was definitely the first game that I felt like deserved result. 100%.
Yeah, agreed.
No doubt about it. We didn't create enough. I was going back and during the rewatch, and it was like 15 minutes into the game, we had made it within 10 yards of their box with one touch. Like that was it. It just was not the right intensity. We didn't match Philadelphia. And it was a little disconcerting that both goals were so soon after the opening whistle of each half. And that's actually something that I want to kind of keep an eye on, because if you look back at the past 3 games, in the first 12 minutes of each half, there's been a goal either scored for us or against us.
That's a good point.
So right now, there's a little bit of this Jekyll and Hyde of us either coming out with the right intensity or being beat in that intensity. And so these games, a lot is being decided in those first 15 minutes of each half. And that's something for us to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah, man. And I think, even like you mentioned the goals, and I want to hear people's comments as well. Like the first goal was like a pass that I think he was trying to put it in the box, but nobody was there. And then,
are you talking about the opening goal?
Yeah, the opening goal.
Yeah, well, I actually looked back at that really, really closely, and
Huh?
what happened was Carujo made like a 50 to 60 yard run forward
Right.
into no man's land. I mean, there was nobody around. And so Mora was, it looked like he was just trying to clear the line, just get it out of the area and give Carujo time to get back into position. And that's when we got burned. Like Kai Wagner did not have, he had way too much time and space.
Yeah.
Alcivar could not possibly close down that space fast enough. And he went route one, played it right over the top, and it's off to the races. And really, the guy I faulted the most, yes, Jalen, the ball got over his head, but talking about no man's land, Anton Walks was in total no man's land on that opening goal. He did not help Lindsay. He did not get over in time. He did not cut out the passing lane into the box, and he didn't follow the one runner. And that was the thing, is that Carujo was so far out of position. Walks or Fuchs had to be the one to make the play on Carranza. And ultimately, at the end of the day, Fuchs was the one who made the play, but he was on the wrong side of Carranza. Right. And not because Fuchs was on the wrong side. He could not get there. So I think it just was a colossal falling apart moment for the team.
100%. And I want to pose this question to the people in the comments as well. And I want to ask you, did Miguel make a mistake with this lineup?
Yeah.
You think so? 100%.
I mean, personally, I thought, and I said it before, I'm still eager to see a 3-5-2 with the personnel that we have. I felt that we were going to need to do something other than the 4-4-2 diamond going into the game, because I felt like us in a 4-4-2 diamond against Philly in a 4-4-2 diamond, Philly's the one that's organized and plays that all the time. And that was a dangerous thing to try and go into their house, play their style and similar thing and just go toe to toe with them. But we wanted the 2 striker formation. So if you're going with a 2 striker, 3-5-2 is the way that you load the midfield, try to create some disruption against that diamond. And ultimately we haven't seen that yet. And I think it would have maybe helped a little bit. But in this game, no, it was moments. It wasn't. I think we didn't get played off. Like, it was okay. We just had a couple mistakes.
100%. I agree. And I think that was something that I saw against Cincinnati as well, that, man, we kind of got lucky, in terms of like Kalina came up with some clutch saves that first half. And then again here it's very unfortunate that we talked so highly of him all week, and then he goes and makes that mistake, right? And leads to the second goal. But I think that I'd like to call that like a Miguel ball tax. Like, that's going to happen through the season. I don't think it'll happen often, but it'll happen every once in a while where we're trying to play out the back and we've got teams that press us and we make mistakes like that.
And to me, that one wasn't even like a playing out of the back mistake. That was just an egregious Kalina brain fart. Like, it is inexcusable. Like on that one, you got to just clear that ball, play it quicker, something. But playing it into no one when you're 20 yards out of your goal mouth, no. You got to do something better than that. And yes, he had some pressure, but he had time and space to do something with it. And that was the worst possible decision that he ultimately ended up making.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with this comment by Matt. In that back five, I'd like to see what Armour would have done from the start. And so, but I mean, like, hindsight is 2020, right? Like, we can look back now and say, oh, all of this can change. But at the end of the day, I just think the formation was wrong, and I think Miguel overthought this game.
See, but that's the thing, is like, where I have to disagree is like the 2 goals that were scored. Mm-hmm. One was Carujo getting wildly out of position.
Right.
Wildly out of position. Like, that was not the tactic or the formation. That was a break of formation. And the team then had to quickly scramble because Philadelphia, to their credit, quickly got the ball vertical. Right. They played a very vertical ball and tried to take advantage of recognizing that a team center back is 70 yards from goal. That was credit to Philadelphia, but I don't think that was the system or the style. That was the freedom maybe of a player being allowed to make a run like that. But to me, that wasn't formation breakdown. That was Just a strange moment.
Right.
And then the other goal, I said, totally avoidable. All Kalina's got to do is clear it in any direction other than a empty pass. And so to me, we played 90 minutes and gave very few opportunities to Philadelphia. Philadelphia was pressing. This game, I felt like we had fairly good control of in terms of limiting opportunities, but we also weren't doing anything to create. We didn't have enough intensity to create.
That's what I was going to get to in terms of, okay, but we lacked so much creativity in that final third. So Miguel was just there to take a point and come home, which fair play to him, if that's what he was looking to do. But I mean, it didn't work out. So
correct. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like our ceiling in that game was a draw, and our own mistakes cost us that. Nice,
awesome. And then moving to the boys, John and Ariel, talk to me about Atlanta. You guys now are like the kings of getting points right at the end of every match. 7 out of 10 points have come. Either a late goal. I remember that late goal against us for the 2-1. You guys got a 3-3 draw as well. And then this weekend, you also won with a last-minute goal.
Well, I mean, John, honestly, I don't know if you've seen it, but I mean, you definitely see a more of a fight, and this team able to grind it out the 90 minutes, not unlike the past 2 seasons where it was, this team was, lost basically. Is either they played one good half and then the other 45 minutes they were completely like outplayed by, the opponent. But you see like the fight, the quality is there, but we just don't see a consistent game, from them throughout the 90 minutes.
No, yeah, I have to agree. So I just want to say this: 2020. I'm sorry, we didn't have a team. I don't know what Atlanta United was when they did that MLS is back tournament. I don't know what we were doing there. Like, I know because of COVID and the shutdowns and everything. Yeah, so that season, I don't believe it. Now, last season, I know since Joseph coming back, we started to kind of get that energy again. Because I feel like with Atlanta, since Almiron has left, we've kind of always depended on Joseph. And when he got injured with Nashville, I think in 2020, that's like, all right, we need to start look at each other and we need to realize, hey, we need to build a team, not just depend on one player or two, but we need to really solidify ourselves and, try to get gold again. And I feel like since then, now with the team we have now our roster looks like it has depth. And, players like Thiago coming in, Marcelino coming in last season, I feel like, especially with Marcelino, like I feel like, okay, now we can be competitive again. And now with the reinforcements like Ozzy, and unfortunately with that situation, we'll talk about that later. But, I just feel like now we have some depth into the squad and, maybe hopefully we can go for gold again. So.
Speaking of depth, man, I was actually reading something earlier that Mike Conti reported that Darren Eales said on one of the radios down in Atlanta that Brad Guzan actually took a pay cut. We're actually always clowning him, for being the most expensive goalkeeper, but he actually took a pay cut this going into this season. So I don't know if he, seen a lot of the criticism that he gets, but at the end of the day, that's a big move, especially coming off your captain, it's a big example, because
absolutely,
like we said, this guy's getting paid close to $1 million, in a league like MLS. That's a lot of money. So you definitely see that they definitely want to build a roster that's going to be able to compete. You got US Open Cup coming back this year. We weren't part of CONCACAF Champions League, but I mean, MLS is a long season. You definitely want to have, the roster that's going to be able to give you, a good amount of quality minutes, even guys coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Now that you were mentioning as well with the injuries now, that have happened, it's tough, man. It's going to be tough. There's definitely guys that can back, or be, a good backup, but it's going to be hard, man.
Before we get into that, I kind of want to ask you guys a little bit of Atlanta's fans' perception of Charlotte. So, I mean, obviously, before we started, there was those quotes that Miguel gave to us where he said that we're pretty much screwed, and we're kind of like a laughing stock of MLS for a couple of days. Then we get a couple of losses, but within those losses, you can see that there's a team there, right? And so even the game that we played against y'all, we held our own for the most part, and it took a late minute goal for you guys to actually get the win. So I kind of wanted your perception in terms of what you guys have seen from Charlotte FC.
I see. Obviously we all met on Twitter. And I would see a lot of Charlotte fans just kind of having that energy, regardless of the losses that the team has had. I see that there's that potential where it's like, okay, cool, we lost, but guess what? We're back up. Let's get to the next one. Let's get to the next one. And I like that energy. Now, at first I was like, these Charlotte fans are coming off a little cocky, but then I realized, you know what? I feel like when you bring that energy, that helps the team, and that just kind of motivates them to try to become more than just another expansion team, another, MLS team. Like, no, we're here to not only talk our trash, but back it up as well. So yeah. I gotta say, I really do like the energy Charlotte's bringing, and I'm gonna say, I'm glad that Atlanta gave them their first goal. Why not? We're right there next to each other. We're the Southern, it hurt a little bit. It hurt, like, you guys scored on us. All right, but you know what? I'd rather it be, a team from the South, just like us. So why not?
Yeah, you know what definitely made a statement, man, is the fact that, like you said, the support, man. You saw that the first home game that you guys had, man, broke that record, which, I mean,
yes,
I would have never expected that, honestly. I definitely was not expecting, Charlotte to have that huge of an impact when it came to the support in soccer, man. I mean, I kind of saw it, in the way, where it was like, you saw these big national teams or like, these big clubs come and play. But, as a community, like Charlotte wise, they're, they have a great thing going on with between with the team and the fans. So it's definitely going to help in the long run, man. I mean, we hope to see, team or, games where, it's tough, it's close games. You don't want to see, a lot of times you hear the rival for Atlanta it's Orlando, but it wasn't until like the past 2 seasons where Orlando has actually been the team where or has put up some type of a game against Atlanta. And we were speaking that last time with Jorge. Like, I mean, you would want to see that, it's better for the league, it's better entertainment. You definitely want to have, a team that Atlanta is gonna come and have a tough time with. Is better for the league.
It helps football in general. And Vaughn, you can chime in at any time as well. But I think like what you said, even like after our first win, I really liked seeing the raw emotions of some of our players and how just genuinely excited they were, because like they've seen the support also from the fans. And even Kalina, our goalie, after the first match, he was like, that we lost at home against LA, he was like, the crowd deserved for us to come out there and win 3-0, but we're just not there yet. And then to go and see the win and to see like celebrations, and even on the third goal that Ben Bender scored for our first win, Corujo, just our center back, just getting down and like being so excited, man. Like it was refreshing to see that like at least the commitment in terms of trying to do something is there from the players.
And that's what I was going to add. It's what John was talking about for Atlanta 2020, or what we saw for the game against Philadelphia. It was a team lacking personality, right? Mm-hmm. What makes you fall in love with a team or a city, right? It's when you see that flavor, you see that spice, you see the personality of the players, but the personality of the players and the personality of the fans is ultimately expressed on the field, right? And I think that is the thing that we missed in the Philadelphia game, and that's what so many Charlotte fans have fallen in love with in the 2 home wins, and even when we've gone down, why did we feel so good after a 3-0 loss to DC, or ultimately in the other game against Atlanta losing at the end, right? It's that we saw personality, we saw fight, we saw grit, we saw the team trying to do. and trying to grow and being part of a collective and trying to do it all together and feel like you're building something special. That's why I think Charlotte is catching some people off guard, because I think that idea of a personality and a team, we've definitely got some personality.
Yeah. And I think I love too, like what you guys said, like we're backing it also with like numbers, like we're bringing strong numbers, even aside, like obviously one of my biggest criticisms will always be how high the prices of tickets are. But even with that, like our attendance record after that 75,000 was 29,000 the next game, 30,000 the game after that. So, I mean, we're still bringing in solid numbers in terms of the MLS. And I'm like, man, that is so good. And it's so refreshing for the league as well. And I know people don't want to talk about rivalries, but you know what? Like the stronger we get and that everybody will look forward to saying, yo, Charlotte versus Atlanta this weekend. I definitely have to watch that.
Yeah.
I definitely see that. I would prefer Charlotte versus Atlanta than Atlanta versus Orlando. I mean, I'm just gonna say it like that. I mean, honestly, it's the blue against the red. I mean, come on, it's a classic. It's a classic showdown that everybody wants to see, and it just kind of goes back to what people said about Atlanta. Oh, Atlanta's not a football city. Atlanta's not a soccer city. When Charlotte came around, and I noticed one of the comments. Charlotte is a soccer city. Charlotte loves football. It's just a team had to land, and then there you go. You can see it with the actions. You can see it by the players. You can see it by the club, the fans. It's all there. So now it's just building a strong team, and then eventually heading down to Atlanta and having a showdown. And that'll be for now. Of course, this is the commencement of a team like Charlotte, but 5 years down the road, Charlotte might be that team where Atlanta's like, oh, we got a tight game coming up, So, yeah, I gotta say, I can't wait. I can't wait to see Charlotte's growth in the next couple of years. I can't wait.
Nice, awesome. Now, getting a little bit into the game as well. I mean, you guys, you touched a little bit on it, but you're coming in with a lot of injuries. I think yesterday was a report that Alonso Rosetto, Joseph Martinez are going to be missing. Also, Araujo, I'm not sure if he's back yet or not. Like, how do you see your team coping with all these injuries? And then Vaughn, and then too.
Honestly, man, we talked about it. With the depth, I feel like the quality is there to back up those roles that are missing, but we talking about a guy like Joseph Martinez, who gives you goals, who gives you a presence. He hasn't really been the goal scorer, obviously, after that injury, and he's been playing more of a role of a playmaker. He hasn't really, obviously. Yeah, I really haven't seen him not even close to 70% of what he was in 2017 or 2019, but he's been playing more of that role, and I feel like he's gonna be missed more than the rest of the guys because we really don't have a guy that's like clinical up top. We don't have the guys that we have up top is Dom Dwyer. What's this other guy, man? Jackson Conway, which hasn't really gotten as much minutes. He got some decent minutes the other night against DC, put on a decent performance, but I don't see him being that guy that's going to give you a good 60 to 70 minutes, or I just he has to grow a little bit more, but I don't know if we're gonna end up pulling some moves or something, with Ozzy Alonso also being out for the rest of the season. So that's also a big injury, big miss that we're gonna not have him the rest of the season. Him along what's this guy, Andrew Gutman. I mean, they brought a lot of like veteran presence into the team. That's something that was like lacking for Atlanta United the past 2 seasons. So it's gonna be tough, but I feel like the quality is there to back those roles that are gonna be missing, those guys that are gonna be gone.
Yeah, it's a shame. I know that Araujo got hurt, I believe the first game, if I'm not mistaken, and he was already expected to be out a month. I think we're at the month's time already, so he should be coming back soon. I read a report that Joseph Martinez is actually heading to Philly to check his knee to see if there's something going on. He said he felt like a discomfort. So we'll see more on that. And it's unfortunate about Ozzy. I know Ozzy from Seattle Sounders. I know that Pineda has confidence with him. So, I know he brought Ozzy over for really just to kind of like, hey, this is the idea that we did back in Seattle, So, I guess Ozzy was just helping, kind of being a second coach on the squad. But it's unfortunate, 30, I believe 35, 36 years old, ACL injury, at that age, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see the same Ozzy anymore, or if we'll see him at all. Will he consider retirement? That's a question up in the air right now. So, it's a very unfortunate. I really dislike seeing the injuries happening now at the beginning of the season where points are crucial. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but I feel that, the way United is, the way Atlanta is, it's just okay. Well, we got to roll with the punches. We got to keep going. It is what
we
it
can't
is.
have another 2020 again. I mean, that's something that
Exactly.
we had Joseph gone, and it's like that's the reason, like, we depended on him so much.
Exactly.
And now you're going into another injury crisis, and you're like you don't want to be in that position again. I mean, we shouldn't be in that position, honestly. I mean, and it's unfortunate, even with Joseph, man. I the same thing. Something came out today that it wasn't the knee was bothering him actually during the game. It was actually previous to that, while he was out with Venezuela in the World Cup qualifier. So, even the fact that he was actually able to still go out there and play, I mean, that's why you saw. I saw him not doing absolutely anything, honestly. And I mean, I know I'm being very judgmental of him, but I mean, it's the truth.
I can agree to that.
He really wasn't there.
The good thing for you guys, though, is I feel like you still have very high level depth, right? Like in the midfield, you still got Moreno, you still have Almada, you're gonna have a Raju.
Sosa's coming back as well, Ibarra as well. So
and when we're talking about personality, right? Like you guys have already shown this level of resiliency these past 3 weeks. Like I think a big part of Atlanta is like I said it on one of my other episodes, but the thing that is catching me this year is like they're one of the few teams in MLS that has another gear. Like you guys have a 5-minute window where you're like, we need to find a goal. And you have so many weapons, whether it's those guys we just mentioned in the midfield, or it's your outside backs that are able to get forward, whether it's Gutman or Lennon or Mulroney. Like it just like comes in waves, right? And I think you guys are going to be ultimately okay. The big loss right now is probably Alonso, because you're missing that midfield dominator, physical presence, personality, and energy. That's what's going to be missing. But in terms of a team that's already establishing that identity and that belief, and not to mention Pineda, like that is straight up like a Pineda type ethos from his Sounders days, is like a team that can come on late in the season that just has a, sure, count against us. We're still going to be there at the end of the day, and we're still going to be dangerous and can beat anybody on any day. I think Atlanta's going to be that throughout the whole year this year.
And that was going to be a question for you guys, because I mean, under Hines, it seemed like it was a mess, right? Like everything out, right?
Yeah, it was a mess. It was.
What have you guys seen from Pineda that you like that he's implemented in this Atlanta team?
I could say that when Hines was let go, I saw, of course, we saw Rob Valentino come in and, just I think he had a perfect record of 4 wins. And that's when, Pineda came in. I like Pineda's tactics. They remind me a lot of, I feel like he's the best example is Tata, and he's given the midfield a lot of creativity where they can just kind of play the ball however they feel, like just free form. Because, as you guys can tell, Atlanta United loves the Argentinian players, loves the South American players. We just love that style. And honestly, when Hines came in with his methods, we just couldn't agree with them. And, and I think, I can't remember, I think Frank de Boer too, he came in with his European tactics and same thing. He just couldn't adjust. And he said, all right, if you guys want to be free, go out there. And, once he let us do that, we started, I think we won Campeones Cup that year, 2019. And I think we won the US Open Cup as well. Like it was starting off bad for him. He just, I guess his style of playing wasn't working. And then he just said, you know what, guys, if you guys want to play the way y'all play, the South American way, boom. And then everything changed from there. So I think Pineda brings a little bit of that. I think a little bit more grit too. I know that he pretty much had a good track record at Seattle Sanders. I mean, Seattle Sanders, need I say more? I mean, they're a great team out in the Western Conference. So bringing someone from that squad, from that club, I was like, awesome. You know.
Yeah, and the fact that, I mean, there's a guy that has played in the league and coached as well in the league, how you're saying, I mean, that's also important. You know, we had these guys coming, you know, Heinze, even though he was a top prospect, you know, manager coming out of South America, one of the younger coaches that, you know, even a lot of teams in Europe wanted. Yet again, like you said, the style just didn't fit. But, you know, even with De Boer as well, it was a struggle in the beginning. But
Yep.
Pineda, I feel like has brought that, you know, like the more willingness to you know, fight for the team, or like, you know, wanting to get the result. Basically, you see the hunger that the players have.
More grit.
Ultimately, I mean, a lot of these guys, like, you know, they're young coming into Atlanta. I mean, I remember last year we were one of the younger teams out of all MLS. It was pretty, you know, relevant because, I mean, to a point, you know, a lot of these guys had never played in MLS. You know, even the guys that came in this season, Almada had never played in MLS. So, you know, that's where you're like, all right, you know, you would want to think that these guys are going to be, you know, ready, you know, and just have the hunger, you know, to take it a step above. I mean, we had the cases like Almiron, even in other teams, you know, where these young guys come in and, you know, they explode and, you know, off to Europe.
Nice. This is a good question as well. What are your guys' thoughts of our coach? I mean, honestly, in my opinion, that was the best signing for us, because I think Miguel, the style of play and who he is as a coach, is going to be very, very detrimental for how we do. And one thing that he said at the last press conference that I really loved, because someone asked him about playoffs, like, "Hey, are we going to make playoffs? Like, what are your thoughts on it?" And like, he gets really angry when you ask him that question. But at one of the things that he said was, my objective is, within the 3 years that I'm here, is to take this team from where they're at to a team that's competitive and is challenging for titles. You know, so I really like that. Like we have a style that we want to play, and that needs to be our ethos, no matter what coach comes in. So I kind of wanted your thoughts on our coach, if you guys watched any of our games or anything like that.
I actually watched the LA Galaxy game against you guys, and what I saw was you guys again just have that grit, that want to win, that want to be, again, just another team added to the MLS list. And as far as that question, rightfully so, he should be upset. Like, I think first off, let's be realistic here. This team, we're just popping off. We're just getting started. We have a goal. Let's slowly, you know, how do you eat a whale? You don't eat it in one bite. You eat that in chunks. So, you know, that's how I like that mentality of his. Like, he's just like, let's just be realistic. We have to first implement a team, build the chemistry, and then go on from there. So, I mean, yeah, I would be upset too if it kept asking about, oh, are we gonna make it? Are we gonna qualify? You know. So.
This is a good point by Michael, though, too. I mean, the club did kind of shoot itself in the foot, like when our president came out and said, "Hey, we want to host an MLS Cup playoff here in Charlotte."
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the question you just asked, yeah, I mean, you definitely guys, you know, hit the nail with the hammer with Ramirez. I mean, he's, you know, a Spanish guy, you know, is gonna have that possession ball, you know, and it's good, you know, that a team has a style, you know, has knows what they want to play, has that idea as well, you know, like you said, you will want to build off from that. Even, you know, the results are not there within the 3 years that he's here, at least, you know, he's built that, you know, foundation for the team to, you know, work from there. Maybe the results may not be there, you know, soon, but eventually, you know, it's a working process, you know. It's really not, like, seriously, you know, I mean, Atlanta has really been the exception where you see an MLS team and just come and like boom, like immediately just have that success. I mean, we talk about teams, other teams like LAFC and even the Sounders, but the Sounders weren't really even a team that right off the bat came and just were in MLS contention, but yeah, they slowly build, and they've never missed playoffs. They've always consistently been there in the top. I think I saw something that the Sounders have never finished in the have never ended the season lower than third or fourth, if I'm not mistaken, in the Wedge. With dude, that's incredible. I mean, which you're talking about, you're basically hosting every playoff game basically. So with you guys, I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential there. If you guys are able to bring in quality players and work, or bring in, even guys, veteran players, that have been here in MLS, that's also a big implement, to have guys that know the league, that have been here for a while, that's something that's gonna be fundamental.
Yep. Perfect. Awesome. And just quickly getting into the game as well, Vaughn, I want your thoughts on this. What does Charlotte need to do differently this game to get the result, to get a win at home against Atlanta?
I think they need to be able to close space quickly to the outside backs. I think what was happening in the first game against Atlanta was a lot of switch of plays, a lot of long diagonals, and a lot of emphasis on play coming from the wing backs, whether that was Gutman or that was Lennon, or at the end of the game, Mulroney. And so I think we have to limit the threat from that point, because that's ultimately where we're going to be caught out, right? It's that long ball that's getting over our outside back. It's the moments when Gutman is getting forward and getting our guys having to decide of who closes the space. Is it the outside back? Is it the center back? Is it a midfielder like Alcivar or Ruiz closing that space? I think that's where we've got to limit opportunities for Atlanta is the threat from their outside backs. And then for us, I think we need to impose our style. We need to be able to have more threats going forward. And I think it's going to look a lot different than that first game, because I think we're going to have more of the ball. I think we're going to play more front-footed, and I think it's going to be a little bit more of a slugfest, honestly.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. How would you like to see? I mean, would you like us to go with two strikers up top, or just Swiderski again alone? Because even the game against Union, man, he was having to drop back so much to try and create something. Like, you can honestly, Swiderski is such a great player, bro, on and off the ball.
In the first half, he was on an island. Like, it was straight up Swiderski Island. And he was getting very frustrated. I mean, he was so demonstrative. You could see it on his face. Every single ball that was within 30 yards of him, he was like a kid on a playground that just had the ball taken from him. Like, he was so upset. And it all changed in the second half. I mean, there was like anger, but it was anger that was being converted into positive play. And so I think right now, with the other personnel we have in the midfield, we don't have guys, we don't have a traditional number 10 that's going to feed the ball into him. We don't have guys that are making line breaking passes or runs very often. So I think right now our chances are coming from the two striker formation of somebody else occupying some of the defense, of having the ability to have that hold up play, and sometimes letting Swiderski drop in. And he doesn't have to be an outright number 9. He can be almost like a false 9, and create from a deeper position. And he can get onto the ball in different spots. There's times he's drifted out wide and he's getting the ball there. There's times he's dropping back 60 yards from goal and getting the ball there just to get a feel for the ball, just to get a single touch. I think that's very important, right? I say that for keepers all the time, is like, you need to have that rotation just for the guy to be involved in the game and to feel the pulse of the game and to be with it. If you've got a keeper that hasn't touched the ball for 60 minutes and then the chances are on top of him, it's like starting to run from a dead stop. Like, you're going to lose the race. And so I think that's true for strikers too. They've got to feel the game. They've got to get involved in the game. And Swiderski right now, those moments are coming consistently in a two-striker formation.
100% agreed with everything you said. John and Ariel, in terms of Atlanta coming to Charlotte, what do you guys need to do to get the result here?
To start off, I think we need to stop this last-minute winner thing, this last-minute point, and we need to finish.
If you do it this weekend, you're not going to knock it either.
I'm just saying, all I'm hoping is that we can be thorough with our objective and just kill the game at the 60th, 70th minute. I think that the aggregate might be 2-0. I'm just going to put it out there now. But I feel that what Atlanta's lacking right now is like just finishing the game at the 60th, 70th minute, just kind of, just possessioning and then, of course, ending the game. But I feel like as of lately, we've just been struggling to maintain the win. We've been struggling to win. And it just doesn't look good. I mean, it's either, this Charlotte game might be that pinnacle point where, Charlotte could come in with the win. And, of course, with all the injuries we're getting now, that just might bring morale in the team, and that could put us in a, little tight spot or in the mud. But, also vice versa, if we get this win, hey, maybe we can win without Joseph. Hey, maybe we can win without Ozzy. So it's like this game right now is important, especially with everything going on. I don't know if Joseph is coming back. I know Ozzy's out. I don't know if Araujo's even healthy to play. But I feel like Atlanta, what they need to do is just finish the game. And that's it. Just finish the game. And we can move on, But I think Charlotte knows what's coming. I think they're expecting, okay, we played them in their field. So now they got to come over home. And now we got them where we want them. We know how they play. We know what they do. And guess what? We're just going to counter on that, So I think Charlotte...
It's Charlotte's first revenge game. I'll say that.
Yes, exactly. So Charlotte's ready. Charlotte wants it. And who else than Atlanta? Come on, come on. But
look, man, for me, what's going to be like crucial for Atlanta is going to be the high pressure, man. That if they're able to high pressure Charlotte, because I expect Charlotte to have much more of the ball, and for Atlanta to be the team to, come in here and press, basically the center backs or the defensive midfield. But like I said, I don't see Atlanta having a pretty game. Basically, it's going to be more of what they're able to work with after the press and, the spaces that they have. And hopefully, we have Almada, able to, be a little bit more creative. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was good last game, but you just want to see him start getting a little bit more involved with the game, with the rest of the guys, and whoever the starting forward is going to be. Obviously you want him to how you were saying as well, to basically get a feel of the game, want the ball, play with the ball, not just be expecting, for every single service that's going to come to you, like the basically work as a unit. A lot of individual thing, like I don't want to see like a lot of dribbling, but sometimes we saw that last season with Barco. He was a player that wanted to just dribble through 2-3 players, and it's just not, it's
not effective.
It's really not. I mean, the guy has the quality and everything, but when it comes to the decision making, that's where it wasn't top level decision making for Atlanta, and that still is not there yet, honestly, at the beginning of the season. And it's gonna have to come eventually. Either we want to have a full 90 minutes of a consistent style of play, or of consistent game where we're not struggling 20 minutes where we have 10 of our players defending on our own half. We really don't want to have a team that's gonna basically be struggling with that.
This is a good question too. Vaughn, you can start off. How would you set up our midfield this weekend?
So if we're going with the 4-4-2 diamond, right, I would like to see our attacking point be Titi Ortiz. Okay. I would like for the two wide in the diamond to be Bender on one side and Alcivar on the other side. And at the defensive mid position, I'd like to see Alan Franco back out there.
Okay, interesting. To me, I don't think TT has been the player I expected him to be, man. What do you think what warrants him a start this game?
I said it, I don't remember where it was, but I don't think that TT's had a fair shake. In that TT, when he was getting the starting minutes, that was before Swiderski was around. They didn't get to train a lot because Swiderski was still, securing his visa. So he was being asked to play out of position, really as either a false nine or in some other non-traditional roles when he was alongside Mackenzie Gaines and Jordi Reyna. So what I want to see is I want to see him have an opportunity at the attacking point of the 4-4-2 diamond, because I think he will be more effective in that role. He's playing underneath both Rios and Swiderski if he's in that spot.
Right.
I think that is going to create a lot of opportunity for him. And in terms of a guy that can, like we were talking earlier about somebody that can break a line with a pass or with skill on the dribble, I think TT is the guy that can and has been billed to be able to do that, but he has not been set up or been in positions to do that yet. I think he would thrive and do very well in that situation, especially if he knows he's got Alcivar, Franco, and Bender right behind him, where he doesn't have as many of the defensive responsibilities.
Interesting. Like your mid is very interesting to me. I would go kind of with that diamond that we had against New England, except for I think you had Alcivar behind the strikers. Out wide, you had Bender and Franco. I think Franco's a very underrated player on our team. And then at that holding role, I would have, instead of Bronico, I would have Jones. I think he has more of a physical presence than Bronico. So that would be my 4-4-2 diamond. And so.
Yeah, I understand the physical presence of Jones for sure.
All right. And then lastly, what I want to get into is score predictions. I want to hear them. I know, John, you touched on it a little bit. You said you want to hear, you said a 2-0 to you guys. And then drop your comments too with what you guys think will be the score.
I think I told you what mine was, but I think I'm switching that because with the fact that we have these guys missing and Joseph's gone. I mean, I said a 3-2 when you were on our show, but I don't know, man. I'll probably say we win 2-1, and I mean that's being pretty biased, honestly. But I'll be happy with a draw. Don't get me wrong, but if Atlanta wins, it will be a close one, man. I don't see it, being a huge blowout or being a lopsided win for us.
Who scores the winners for you?
I'll say either between Almada or Moreno, one of those two guys. Maybe Dom Dwyer, depending on how he comes in the game, or if he even gets to start. I would like for him to start, honestly, but I don't know, man. I feel like those are basically the two more dangerous pieces that we have offensively, Moreno and Almada.
Nice. Okay.
What about you guys? What's the score predictions on your behalf?
I think it's going to be 3-2 Charlotte. I think it's going to be a very open game. I think it's going to be a slugfest.
That sounds like a
Nice.
great game.
Yeah, that will be great for entertainment for sure.
Yeah, I just think we're going to play on the front foot.
Who's going to score the winner for you, Vaughn?
The winner for us?
Or the 3-2, whatever.
I'll say our 3 goals. I think Rios is due for one. I think he's going to get unlocked. Swiderski, he scores at home, so he's going to get one. I'm going to hedge my bet between TT and Alcivar.
Okay. Nice. Awesome.
One of them.
Yeah. Contrary to you, for some reason, I think this is going to be like a 1-0 to us. I do see what you're saying in terms of it just being a slugfest, but I think what it's going to take is going to be a moment of brilliance by Swiderski that gets us the 3 points. And so that's what I'm going with, a 1-0 for us. Last week I went against us and said we would lose 2-0 in Philly, and I got that right. So hopefully I can come good, and we get a 1-0 win here in Charlotte.
I'm sticking with mine 2-0. I'm gonna say Moreno for the first goal. You guys probably won't see this coming, but I say 93rd minute, Miles Robinson header.
That's pretty clutch.
Come on, Miles Robinson. Y'all know he does it for the U.S. national team. Why not for Atlanta? I mean, for some reason, Miles Robinson happens to be that guy. You know, he just last minute header, boom, in there, and it's over. So I'm gonna say,
you know who also, man, you know, and given, you know, kind of going back to with like, you know, for the starting lineup, you know, I would really like to see George Campbell get that start over Alan Franco, man. I feel like Franco's been more of a liability for us. He hasn't really been the player he was at the end of the season last year. There's been a lot of, you know, mistakes, honestly, that haven't really been too costly at this point, but you don't want that to keep going to the point where it's like, all right, you know, you have a guy like George Campbell. I mean, he's pretty a big dude. I mean, that guy is freaking huge. Is a physical presence that, you know, is also able to play as a defensive midfielder. So, you know, you have a guy that's definitely, you know, able to play in that spot for Alan Franco. But I would probably even see, you know, like John said, you know, probably Miles or somebody else getting a goal in. Hopefully, man. All I want to see is some goals, man. I don't want to make the trip up there and like not freaking cheer on anything, man. I don't want to hear y'all just guys screaming at freaking goals, man. I want to scream too.
I will tell you, if it's the 93rd minute and there's an opportunity for Miles Robinson to get his head on the ball, I hope that Guzman Carujo is spearing him into the ground like with a football tackle.
Love that. No, I guess you don't want to see the battle of the Francos, man, because we got an Alan Franco and y'all got an Alan Franco, bro.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah,
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Nice. Awesome. John, where can we find you at, bro?
Guys, you can find me at APT85. Again, if you love football, don't have a touch of a cement wall. If you don't understand that, that's fine. You can figure it out. But APT85 is my place. You guys can find me on YouTube. You guys can find me on Instagram. That's where I'm majorly at. And yeah, every Thursday, every Friday, we post.
Does APT stand for something? Because I feel like I just want to say apartment 85.
It is apartment 85. It's just where we started it, and we're just like, you know what, let's go with it. We had a name before. I don't want to mention it. It's just nah. But APT 85, I just felt like, you know, it's cleaner. 85 is the interstate from Atlanta.
Okay.
So it's the famous interstate in Atlanta. So I just said, you know what, let's just put that together. I think it sounds pretty nice and neat.
All right. Ariel, where can we find you at, man?
On Twitter, man, we're on Research Spike ATL. You know, obviously it's too long of a name. I couldn't put the D on there, but also on Instagram, same thing, Research Spike ATL. We're on Facebook as Feel a Sports Podcast. Usually, I'm the one who's posting on there, you know, with the soccer content and stuff. So we're on there, man. So, you know, give us a follow and thank you for guys. Thank you, man, for having us on here, man. You know, really
absolutely.
appreciate it.
Of course. And then Vaughn, lastly but not leastly. Where can we find you at, bro, with all your MLS knowledge?
Yeah, for socials, you can find me at VI Pullman right down there. And then I'm regularly podcasting on MLS Aces. Been jumping on Mint City Pod. Been on Charlotte FC Fan TV.
Now you're
here on Top End 90. I'm making the rounds.
Bro, you're a sought out star now here in Charlotte, bro. Like,
I know. I'm like the homeless podcaster. Like I'm just jumping around, trying to find one.
Yeah, you're just so in demand, bro. That's what it is, man.
Well, hey, I'm glad to be here, man.
For sure. And awesome. And you guys know we're Top Bin 90 here on every platform, and in our TikTok is Real Top Bin 90 as well. Make sure you give us a follow here on YouTube as well, because this is the next platform I want to get over a K. So we got almost every platform at over 1,000 already. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. Let's just hope, like you guys said, for a great game, and hopefully Charlotte wins. Have a good night.
You guys too. Take care.
Same to you, man.
Thank you.
All right.